Hey, 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 people watching. Trying to get my stuff set up here. Do. So just waiting for Yago to show up here. Okay, there we go. We're live. I love that internet technology. It's amazing we can do any of this stuff, isn't it? So yeah, first thing I wanted to do was talk about Gitcoin, how it is that we came to Gitcoin and why. So basically, after spending a number of years in the early Bitcoin community, Ethereum showed up, and one of the early startups in the Ethereum space is a consensus project called Gitcoin. And the first time I heard about it, I was like, "Oh, cool! A coin around a decentralized GitHub." What was your first thought when you heard Gitcoin?
Yeah, I thought they were trying to build a decentralized GitHub as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, and then it turned out to be, this to grow into this amazing community of people supporting open source development and driving forward, all of the developments that we've seen happen in DeFi in Ethereum. And I've known the Gitcoin team for a long time and watched their progress and worked on multiple hackathons in the Ethereum space. And so when I came to Sovryn, I proposed to you. What did you think when I said, "Hey, man, let's do a hackathon on Gitcoin on Ethereum"?
Well, I've always thought that the work that they've done with Gitcoin is really impressive. They built a very powerful, important tool with a great community behind it. and weirdly enough, there was no Gitcoin. There was no coin. It was just a service provided that other people could use with cryptocurrency, and then built like a community of 90,000 devs. Very impressive.
Yeah. And I guess we were trying to accomplish two things with the hackathon. The first one was we were looking for Solidity devs and couldn't really find anyone in the market in the early bull market of this year. And then there was also trying to win mind share of people in the Ethereum space for what it is that we're doing in Bitcoin. Want to talk a little bit about that, how that sort of like meshing of the worlds and how you see that?
Yeah, so I think the basic idea behind Sovryn is that there's a lot of innovation happening everywhere, including, of course, outside of Bitcoin. And in the crypto space, Bitcoin, while it's the center of gravity and the impetus for the entire crypto space, there's all of these other ecosystems that have developed. Now, whether or not you believe in the coins of these ecosystems, it's important, I think, for Bitcoiners more than anyone else to be curious about what is being done with tokenomics, what is being done with cryptography, and so the Aurora, when she put out the Sovryn Bitcoiners manifesto, said we need to scan the entire crypto space, find the best ideas, and adopt them, because the original idea, the original meme, was always anything that could be useful to Bitcoin will be adopted by Bitcoin. So in that vein, I think
audience participation, you can click on the live stream to see how many people are watching, but we're just doing this together, and it's not an audience participation sort of live call. But you look like you have really, really poor bandwidth. I'm losing you quite often.
I can try turn off my video and see if that helps at all.
Well, what you can do is there's three dots in the menu bar there. And if you go into the settings, you can turn down the bandwidth mode that you're using. You might be using HD. So there's, do you see the three information dots there?
Yeah.
Enable low bandwidth mode, or control video quality will be one of the choices that you see there. And if you set it to SD, then we might have a better experience.
I see settings, but if I click on settings, I don't get that option. Let me turn off my video, and in the meantime, I'll try and move to somewhere else and see if we can get something better. We can keep going.
Okay, cool.
I think I know what is happening. I think I have a fix. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay, cool. I mean, the video is fine. This stream seems to be fine. It goes up and down, but that's the internet. So let me get back to where I was at with the Gitcoin tab. Great. Well, that's not the tab that I was at. Strange. Excuse me, guys, for this. can't see this, the tab that it's, oh, there we go. Great. So you were saying you were excited about Lightning.
Yeah, so I would like to see us integrate with all the different parts of Bitcoin Layer 2, and Lightning Network, of course, is an important part of it, and will also, you know, assist with scalability, and particularly allowing users to interact almost instantaneously with Sovryn. So you could imagine being able to send your funds in to a contract basically immediately via Lightning Network, and pull funds out via Lightning Network, and have the absolute most seamless possible experience. So I'm looking forward to further integrations with Lightning Network going forward.
And how do you see the wallet landscape on RSK and for Bitcoin?
So most of Bitcoin native wallets, so like the wallets that are focused on Bitcoin, aren't yet integrated with Bitcoin DeFi, of course, and they're not even integrated with Lightning. But by integrating with Lightning, Lightning wallets will be integrated much more deeply with Sovryn. And I think, you know, we're really at the very earliest days of DeFi for Bitcoin. I think it's something that Sovryn is demonstrating how it can be done. And as that demonstration grows, and the realization that we can have DeFi for Bitcoin and how important it is that you can use your Bitcoin without having to rely on any intermediaries becomes, I think we'll start to see more and more wallets integrate directly with Sovryn.
What do you think is the key difference between DeFi on Bitcoin and DeFi on Ethereum, if I can beat a dead horse?
Well, I think the key thing is Bitcoin is the center of gravity for the entire crypto space. It is the most secure, the most unchanging blockchain, and as a result, Bitcoin is the only truly independent sound money in the world right now, right? It's the only cryptocurrency which has a very clear and unchanging monetary policy. And at the same time, it also has by far the highest hash rate, and it is also the chain where you know what it's going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. You know that it's going to act and behave in the same way. It's not trying to compete in features. It's not trying to be a technology. It's trying to be a new monetary system. And so if you want to build a new financial system on this new monetary system, then you need to build it on top of that monetary system. And so the goal, I think, for anyone looking to build a financial system in the future, a financial system for the future, which is incorruptible, transparent, and borderless, is to start with the most solid foundations, and that is Bitcoin.
So there's a large difference in the tooling that's available in Bitcoin as opposed to in the Ethereum space.
Yes, yeah. I mean, look, the approaches taken by Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, etc. You've got Bitcoin, and then you've got everything else. And Bitcoin has placed an emphasis first on the foundations and on building monetary systems rather than building technical or technological systems. Whereas, for that reason, other projects, to be successful, have focused on building out technological features. And so I think that's funded and created a huge amount of work, innovation, trial and error, experimentation, which is extremely valuable. And the best parts of it can be integrated with Bitcoin. Beyond that, you have a clear difference between systems which are competing on features, right? and as a result look very much like, you know, the difference in a way between Bitcoin and say Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot is the difference between the internet and Google, Amazon, Facebook, right? So they are technological endeavors seeking to provide services and seeking to compete amongst themselves on the services they provide, whereas the internet is a base protocol which is designed to be unchanging. And so there's a very, very big distinction between the philosophies underpinning these different projects. Now, as a result, the features that have been built out in this world is, you know, outside of Bitcoin is vastly more feature rich and has, you know, taken much more of a move fast and break things approach. And the opportunity, I think, is to bring the best parts of that into the Bitcoin world. And when you look at the best parts of it, I don't think you're looking at a specific chain or a specific application. I think what you're looking at are which standards have stood the test of time. So a lot of people, you know, look at Ethereum and they say that DeFi there has this massive network effect. But if you actually look at it, BSC and Polygon and now Avalanche and Polygon and Sovryn, what they're using is the EVM ecosystem that has been built out, which is not attached to any coin, which is a protocol, which is you know, a framework and a series of tools. And I think that has a very powerful network effect, which is often ascribed to Ethereum, but I actually don't think is the Ethereum network effect. It's the EVM or Ethereum virtual machine or Solidity and sort of that entire dev stack. That is the network effect.
Yeah, so composability is where it is that Bitcoin was very, very conservative, and Bitcoin script, very, very few people being able to also work with it. And yeah, I agree with you that the EVM is the big jump forward. So I'm gonna skip over here. I've been scrolling through the entries on the Gitcoin page that we have. I'd like to just do a few numbers before we start going into the different tracks and the winners. So there was according to Gitcoin, there was 170 project submissions, 1,435 participants. And we had partner bounties from Akash Network, Covalent, API3 DAO, Interlay, and the ENS, Ethereum Name Service. And there was a total amount of 400,000 USD pledged for submissions between us and our partners. When you get down to it, so after 6 weeks, in this decentralized order book category, there were 3 applicants who were able to complete the submissions and submit work to Gitcoin. 1 applicant for node deployments infrastructure, 1 applicant for the decentralization arbitrary messaging bridges, 2 applicants for Sphinx chat integration, 3 applicants in the privacy and shielded transactions. Data Science Improved Blockchain Explorers had 2 applicants, and Data Science Advanced Analytics and Simulations had 3 applicants. Data Science Oracles, there was 1 applicant. Data Science API, 2 applicants. Integrations for wallets, 1 applicant. 5 applicants in the integrations Lightning Network. 3 applicants for the ENS, HNS, RNS integration. 2 applicants for integrations for bridges. 1 applicant for on-chain identity integration. 4 applicants in the finance DeFi strategy bots. 3 applicants for Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. 3 applicants in finance fiat gateways. 2 applicants in finance options trading, and 9 applicants in research. So this is just for the Sovryn partner bounties, for the Sovryn bounties. When you actually, so to go through the judging, we sent different groups of people. So sector experts, invited judges, our own team, and the community. We sent them to a type form, which had all of the information for people to judge. And so from out of the applicants, the project applicants, we had then 141 participants in judging each of the selections. Some of the I'm going to share a different tab now. Let me change this here. Stop sharing. Oh, Brave tab. Results. So, just a little bit of an overview here in the results. We left it quite open, so not really forcing any judging group to go after a specific category. And we can see here by the overviews that the majority of people were interested in judging the Lightning Network submissions, the integrations, and then data science, integrations, research, decentralization were all pretty equal. There wasn't much interest in rating the Bitcoin-backed stablecoins or the wallets. And so generally speaking, going through the data, there was a good balance between our team and external judges and the community in judging the submissions. And if we're going to look at overall, so there was the categories were impact, practicality, technical merits, originality, implementation, and adherence to the bounty. These are the overall scores. So in terms of impact, people thought that the projects that were submitted to the hackathon would have an impact overall. They thought that the submissions were practical overall, if you look at the numbers. In terms of technical merits, there's a little bit more of a distribution, no technical merits and high technical merit, but generally so close to number 4 on the scale. Originality seems to be in the middle zone, so not really a lot of original submissions according to our judges. And the implementation numbers, generally speaking, overall had a higher rating of 4. And in adherence, most people thought that people were adhering, submissions were adhering to the bounty results. So after going through all of those, all of that data and collating it together and doing the ratings, I found out that actually many categories, so 4 of the categories had no submissions, and so those have been excluded, and we'll go through now. So one by one.
I think it's a good idea to point out a few things. So
Yeah.
we took a different approach to the way many hackathons take. We wanted to have a very open menu and allow us to discover sort of what developers were interested in focusing on. So I think we always assumed that there would be some things that people would gravitate to and other things probably wouldn't get picked up at all. I think maybe it's also a good idea to mention some of the judges who had agreed to participate. What do you think? So I was impressed by the roster of judges who participated and took an interest in this. And I think what's really cool is the large number of participants and judges that we saw across the board.
Yeah, so I mean, we had judges from the Ethereum space, judges from Bitcoin space, cypherpunks. I mean, there was a large cross section of judges that were listed on the Sovrython page. Rather than name anyone specifically, it was a good cross section. I think so opening up to our community to have a vote in how it is that they saw the submissions, I thought also was rather than having a community favorite or community vote, we balanced those votes together with the rest of the with the teams and the sector experts. I always find a really hard word for it. Celebrity judges. I don't know. Yeah. So
I didn't realize the Kardashians were judging the Sovryn.
Yeah, Kanye West. So to come down to the to actually the categories that we have narrowed down the winners to. We have integrations Lightning Network. We have 2 winners. So first and second prize in that category. In the wallet integration category, we have 1 winner. In the ENS, HNS, RNS category, we have a first and a second place. For the bridges integration, we have 1 winner. And for the on-chain identity category, there's 1 winner. For the Bitcoin-backed stablecoins, there's 2 winners in that category, first and second place. For fiat gateways and finance, there's 1 winner. For the decentralized order book, there's 1 winner. For decentralization node deployments and infrastructure, there's 1 winner.
How many winners do we have in total?
I got 3 more to get through here. Sphinx chat integration is 1 winner in that category. For the improved blockchain explorers, there's 2 winners in the category. And for data science API, there's 2 winners. And in research, there's 1 winner. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 projects overall out of the submissions that will be receiving a bounty for or winners of the category.
Maybe you want to show it on screen and we can dive into the different projects.
Yeah, well, so we can dive into the different projects over the Gitcoin page if you'd like to do that. But the screen that I'm looking at is the actual results where everything is on that screen. And if I share that screen,
of course.
Right. So if you want to look at the Sovrython results,
I'm eager to see the results. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at the same data, right?
I'm not looking at anything. I'm
just
waiting
listening
for you to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to look at the spreadsheet that I sent you earlier, I'd like to make it clear to the audience that basically we started looking at the data ourselves last night, and didn't actually know today until today who the winners actually were. So let's start with the integrations Lightning Network, or should we start with research? What do you want to start with? What do you think is the one that we want to keep people waiting for?
I don't know. I think we can. I leave it to you if you want to leave a juicy one to the end. But I think we can go start from the top.
Okay. So, starting from the bottom, in the research category, let me turn on my camera here. Sorry, I was also checking bandwidth. So, in the research category, there was only one submission that the judges thought actually met the standards of research. This is across all judge sectors, and that was Fish Biscuit with the Sovryn Total Value Acceleration research paper, which had some interesting bits in it. Do you remember that one yourself, Yago?
I do, yes. I read it. I thought it was pretty good.
So there's some interesting things in there. So there's, as I said, out of all of the submissions to the research category, all of our judges together thought that this was the only submission that should be getting awarded with a prize. So that's 5,000 USD and SOV at the time of transfer is what the research will be getting. And then we can move on to data science.
So wait, you don't want to tell us a little bit about what the research results were?
Well, I mean, everything. The projects are on the Gitcoin page,
right?
So it's a little bit over my own personal knowledge at the moment. I'm kind of like stuck in the data myself to be able to comment specifically on that. But for each of the winner submissions, I asked people to just go to the Gitcoin page, and the submissions are there. They're linked in the Gitcoin submission page. You can see their submitted materials. So no, I won't be going through actually personally. Start again. Yeah, and I'm checking on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So it says excellent connection. So I don't know why, but.
Yeah, so I think, one of the things that's been important to us is to improve, what we're doing now is we're building out basically this entire ecosystem of DeFi for Bitcoin, right? And so we're building out the smart contracts, but we're also building out the data, and we're also building out the connections and the way people can interact with the systems and the wallet integrations. There's a huge amount of work that the Sovryn dev community is doing. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to encourage people to start building out better ways for devs and for users to be able to look at data. And so these APIs are basically ways to read information easily from contract data. And one of the cool things was using both API 3 and Covalent, who had partnered with us. And so this is the kind of work that's going to see increasingly more easily accessible, more available data for users, for traders, and within the UI.
So yeah, we also have then the Covalent and API 3 guys coming on later to give information about their winners for the partner bounties. So I said that there was accept, pass, and developer in progress for the data science API categories, right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So then for the data science improved blockchain explorers, we have 2 winners. The second place is Jamil's RSK Explorer, which is a team, a dev team out of New York, a dev shop out of New York that put up a block explorer for RSK. And the first prize goes to the SOV team, which was a very, very large team that actually dove into Sovryn's style guide and made a block explorer that's consistent with Sovryn's brand identity and color.
Maybe you want to show us these explorers because they're pretty cool.
And so let's see here. We're going to go through this and we'll be done soon. then I don't know why the live stream keeps stopping. I have a very, very solid connection. So this is the Sovryn RSK Explorer on mainnet. It's available at explorer.sovryn.tech from the SOV team. And has blocks, transactions in the pool listed. A nice menu with transactions, addresses, tokens, and stats. Which seems to link directly to RSK at the moment. So this impressed the judges. Also with available to download your data and change the view and things like this. Yes. So that's the first prize winning entry. And from then sorry here guys this is from Chain House, the second place entry, their RSK Explorer with a light theme with graphs, blocks and transactions, sections for liquidity pools, prices, transaction addresses, nodes. This is a first implementation, so it's not completely built out. Not as
I think for work that was done in a hackathon, these are both very, very cool projects. One of the things also that is cool is I think there's work being done to port over the an Explorer very, very similar to ETH Explorer, which will make a lot of people are very familiar with and has a lot of functionality. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff being done around Explorers right now, which will make accessing the data that's occurring on chain much, much easier.
Do you remember Mist?
The game or the Explorer?
No, the Explorer.
I remember that it existed. I don't remember really using it.
Right. I mean, there was in the early days, there wasn't even any Explorers for Ethereum. It was, even rougher than it is for us on RSK at the moment. And, this is one of the things that I always like to remember when we're getting involved with discussions with people about DeFi and Bitcoin and DeFi on Ethereum is, that Ethereum launched on Bitcoin. Basically, it was the first ever ICO, and if you didn't know how to interact with Bitcoin, you couldn't get Ethereum at the genesis, right? And I mean, the tools have come so far, and I guess if there's any sort of frustration that I feel in the the chain wars debate is the apples and oranges comparisons, right? So when people are comparing DeFi on Bitcoin that we're doing with DeFi on Ethereum, it's kind of like not really an accurate comparison, right?
Well, I mean, I think it is an important comparison, right? I mean, you do want to compare the two. I think it's obvious that you're going to see newer ecosystems evolve more quickly than more mature ecosystems. I mean, it's kind of like, I think one way to think about it is you think about the United States and say China, right? So United States had a huge lead in all things, and now China is on the verge of overtaking the US. Whether or not that will last, I don't know. But the point is that when you are able to take the best ideas from others, it's obviously much faster than having to build everything from scratch. And so I think the work that's been done by the Ethereum community is really, really impressive. And the tooling, the dev tooling, the EVM, these are very, very important tools. And I want to embrace those tools and provide those functionality on the you know the into the Bitcoin world. And I think one of the things is we've over time seen a lot of the innovation migrate into the altcoin world because it's been so much easier. And what I think we can demonstrate with Sovryn is there's the ability to now start bringing that innovation in, but also to reintroduce the sense of adventure that I think attracted you and me and so many other people to Bitcoin, reintroduce that kind of innovation into Bitcoin culture as well. I think one of the things that a lot of Bitcoiners feel, I feel, is that Bitcoin has, I think, after the block size wars, maybe become too conservative in some ways, and I think the whole movement of Bitcoin mutants versus Bitcoin maximalists is, the Bitcoin mutants are like, all right, time for the second Bitcoin renaissance. I think what we're seeing here is the beginning of that. Yeah, I think the Renaissance is actually a really great, idea as an analogy, right? So in the Renaissance, the Italians, the French, they started out by basically copying the Greeks and the Romans, and what they ended up with was the printing press and nuclear weapons. So, I think it's time for a Renaissance.
Well, that was, so when you first contacted me to join Sovryn, that's what it felt like for me, right? It was like really a breath of fresh air. I felt this.
Know how many people are viewing this?
Yeah, I can see those channels in YouTube. So we have consistently about 65 viewers.
Awesome. So Sphinx Chat is this really cool thing. Which is basically a censorship-resistant social network and communications platform built on Lightning Network, right? So the fees in Lightning Network are very, very low, and you can pay to send people messages extremely small amounts. And there's this whole community that's built up around Sphinx Chat of podcasters, and it's kind of like Patreon meets encrypted communication. And so I thought it would be really cool to be able to create groups or a Sovryn community on Sphinx Chat. So I'm excited to see what they built out.
Cool. So in that category, we had one submission from Hacky Guru, and when the points all added up, we decided to give a 5,000 euro prize for the second prize for this integration, because we see it as being something that didn't quite really kick our butt together, but we want to incentivize to see further development.
So what did they manage to develop?
You're asking me to
I'm gonna
tab. And actually, you could actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can take a look.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for this. I thought this was so in their submission. Okay. Oh, interesting. They also installed the Fabric network. So Fabric network is a cool thing. So they integrated with Fabric. Fabric is sort of like Discord, but it's a decentralized Discord, which is built on a Bitcoin. So it's secured by Bitcoin. And they have a presentation, which unfortunately I can't access because you need to request access for it. But they have a presentation of how what they've built works. If you don't have access to that presentation, well, then we won't be able to show it in this live stream.
Where are you getting that? Where are you grabbing that?
It's in the GitHub pull request that they have for the
Hello, Remy. Let me grab this. So, Le Beau Remy did end-to-end automated Sovryn node on Akash network. And that's, let me share my screen here.
I'll turn off mine.
Okay. So, basically started out and did a complete end-to-end deployment.
Can you the screen? Can you? Yeah. There you go.
There we go. Wrote all of the scripts to take Sovryn as it's running on our URL, on our nodes, and automated deployment into the decentralized cloud on Akash, our partner. And this is all visible in the video that's linked in the GitHub repo and on Gitcoin.
And this was, hi guys, this is Colin Lowenberg, just joining in.
Hi,
Can you hear me?
Colin. Yes.
How are you? I'm pretty excited about this this work by UM Games. It was a tough decision because all of the submissions were all, very good guides on how to run a Sovryn node. Most of them focused on improving security, but this one in particular really caught our attention because it does more than just deploy a Sovryn node. It automates the entire deployment, right? So from a standpoint of GitHub being a CI/CD environment, and Akash being the other half of that CI/CD, this is really cool to see. You just make a git push on your command line to update your code, and automatically GitHub Actions can trigger a Sovryn node deployment, and bring down your existing node and bring up your new node. So that's pretty cool feature, and it kind of takes the difficulty out of DevOps and sort of makes node deployment a single click, or a single command line, right?
Colin, you want to tell us a little bit about Akash and sort of what it provides?
Sure. So obviously, the Sovryn node deployment guide is how to deploy a Sovryn node on Akash. But you say, well, what is Akash? What are we deploying on? So you kind of want to understand why also did we put a challenge out for this? I mean, essentially, most cryptocurrencies out there have some sort of miner or validator or node that they need to run. And today, a lot of the projects out there are running on Amazon. And this is a big problem because Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are the three big cloud providers, and they're all very centralized. And they could at any point decide, you know what, we're going to close the gates and not allow cryptocurrency. We could block some currency they don't like and launch their own, right? As well, we're sort of just spending our dollars and all on running servers on a centralized company with centralized hardware and data centers owned and operated by these giant corporations. So what Akash is doing is building a marketplace, and we've already launched our marketplace about 3 months ago, that allows you to lease a cloud container from any data center that wants to. So I think one of it's also a big deal for Akash as well, because deploying things is not necessarily like a one-click solution on Akash, because the way we're architected, you have to go out and you have to bid. You have to say, hey, here's my deployment, here's my what I want to lease, and then providers bid on you, and you typically choose the lowest price contract, and then you lease a server container from our cloud providers on our network. And so what this does is wraps all that into a single action. So it eliminates all the steps that you have to do to deploy on Akash. So this really creates a better developer user experience. Sorry, my cat's attacking my green screen right now. And so for us, this is also something that we can reuse for any type of node. So you could use this GitHub action flow workflow to speed up things for all sorts of things. So for us, this is a big a win for not just for Sovryn, but for the entire Akash community.
This is super cool. Yeah, and you know, I'd like to see more collaboration and see how we can sort of take even more aspects and distribute them across the Akash network.
Thanks. And you know, I should give a shout out to the other winners of the Sovryn Node Challenge. RSTM built I mean, I can share my screen if you want.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. So, and I put a blog post out just this morning, just before this, so that everyone can find everything we're talking about on our forum, forum.akash.network. Let me share my window here. And if you go to our forum, it should be right at the top. Everyone's a winner. So we kind of decided that everyone should be a winner in the Akash part of the hackathon, because everyone did actually meet the challenge. Everyone who submitted actually, you know, met the requirements of the challenge. And so the second place winner was Rustam Abdulin, or RSTM, and he built a Sovryn node and added extra security. So whereas, you know, automation was really, you know, number one, at the same time, security is also critical, because Akash is actually a marketplace. You might even call it a less trusted cloud. So everyone trusts Amazon not to spy on their software, right? That's sort of like why people use Amazon. It's a trusted company. So when you're leasing on a marketplace, you now have to decide how you want to manage your security. And you probably shouldn't store your private keys directly in a container on a cloud, whether that's Amazon, Google, or anything. If someone were to be in IT or have access to that cloud, they could access your private key. So what Rustam did was take that private key, put it in HashiCorp's Vault solution, and then use that as a secret management. And so that was really cool. Another hacker, Sarah Robertson, did something similar, but instead of having HashiCorp, which is another corporation, you know, another centralized solution, she had a decentralized, even more decentralized solution using a like ephemeral disposable container. So storing your keys in a disposable container means you only use it when you need it, right? So you're instead of just like putting it somewhere that's more secure, you're saying, hey, we're not even going to put it on the internet. So you keep your keys offline until you need them. And that's another form of security that I think is pretty powerful. I think a lot of people have offline wallets, you know, so it's sort of like the offline private key for your security in the node. And then fourth place we gave to Tanish, who built a wonderful guide on how to run Sovryn, but still kept the private key in the solution. So we gave him fourth place. But at the same time, they all put in you know, similar levels of effort, and they all built and met the challenge. So they're all winners.
It's so cool. Very awesome.
Do you want me to keep talking about the other challenges? So we actually had 3 challenges at Akash. The Sovryn node one was sort of the big one. We also had what we called the Open Cloud Challenge. And this was really to facilitate really anything developers wanted to build, because you know, we can only come up with so many ideas and challenges and say, this is what we want you to build. Sometimes you kind of have to open it up and say, go build whatever you want, but use a completely decentralized solution. So use Handshake for domains, use Skynet for storage, use Akash for compute. And so someone built a Docker Hub replacement that's completely decentralized. And immediately everybody in the community liked this idea. And Jasdeep, the founder, made a nice video walking through how you can go and you can eliminate your Docker Hub today. So a lot of developers use Docker Hub. It's great. It's a good product, but it is owned by a single corporation, and it does have rate limiting. So some people just stand up their own Docker container registry, and that's fine. A lot of companies have their own Docker container registry, but that takes a lot of storage, and it kind of seems silly for everyone to store images. So if we had like a nice open registry that's on Skynet and completely decentralized, this is that solution. So you can actually start using it today. It's in a private beta. You can sign up on their website. Any thoughts on that one? You guys like that one?
Yeah, that's cool.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, I was like watching all of the activity in the community and in the channels as the hackathon was going on. You guys really drew a lot of interesting entries.
One that I think that everyone can probably use today, just for their marketing and growth and like on Twitter essentially, is an NFT drop based on Twitter. So you can put out a challenge on Twitter and someone can click retweet and the server automatically picks a random winner and sends them an NFT gift. It's like right now NFTs are just absolutely hot and everybody wants to give away NFTs to their fans, but how do you do it in a fair and like quick and easy way? So I think this one is really cool. Everybody in my marketing team was like, this is the coolest thing. And it is cool because like we need to find a way to make things easy for people. And like hitting retweet this tweet is a pretty easy thing to do. So if you can start getting people to use crypto and getting them to use NFTs by just getting them to retweet, that's a pretty cool integration. And I don't want to skip any, but the email analyzer, it detects
please
security.
go ahead and go through your things.
So Tanish also did the Sovryn node and he got 4th place, but he also submitted an email analyzer, which actually is a pretty cool tool because I don't know if you know, there's a lot of scams out there that use email and try to get you with fake emails. I don't know if I get fake LinkedIn messages. I'm sure you get fake emails. If you're kind of wondering if an email is a little bit fishy, you're like the person's a little too nice or like asking you to do something, you could go to this email analyzer and take the email headers and paste it in there, and it will analyze it for you and tell you if it's been modified or changed. Because you can fake emails and you can fake the reply to addresses. So this is a really nice tool. There's probably other tools out there, but I couldn't find any. So this is like something that is kind of like a problem in crypto today is like, how do you trust your own email, right? How do you trust that the email that it came from is the email that actually belongs to that person, right? So this is a nice little tool and it needs a server, it needs a place to run. So now it's hosted on Akash, and I think that's a cool security solution. The deploy UI challenge was a big one, really focused on Akash and helping developers deploy quickly. Just like, so in a way, EOM Games, who built the Sovryn automated deployment, kind of got rid of the deployment process completely. So there's no UI necessary to deploy. But another way to deploy now is to use the UIs. So Akashlytics is a website that tracks the price of Akash and how much it costs to run on Akash. And so here, they've actually gone and built a deploy tool that you can walk through a user interface, select which Docker image you want to deploy. So you could deploy the Sovryn node if you want, and you can just go and walk through this video, and it shows how to deploy any Docker image on Akash in a UI. So, obviously developers want to use a command line sometimes, and it's good to learn the command line for things, but I feel like that's a big barrier to entry for people. You have to learn a new CLI tool. You have to basically be a programmer in order to deploy. And not every programmer wants to learn all of the CLIs and all of the DevOps tools, right? We got to make it easy. Engineers are lazy. That's what makes me a good engineer, as I do things the lazy way, and now I do deployments with a UI. So Akashlytics one, they put like 450 hours into it. And, you know, we kind of trust on Gitcoin that people aren't lying about the number of hours, but I can tell you for a fact that these guys have been building this, 2 people working for over a month on this project. You know, they've really been burning the midnight hours to get this product out, and they started with it at the very beginning of the hackathon, and they're still continuing with it after the hackathon. So this is like probably the number, like the real MVP for Akash. And also I kind of have to say thank you to Sovryn for making this happen, because if it wasn't for this hackathon, this product wouldn't have gone from, you know, just a proof of concept to an actual working product. So that's really cool. And you can go download the Windows version, and soon the Mac version will be out. So real software coming out of this hackathon. There's also, they're not the only one. So someone else built one that's a hosted website, which uses Kepler Wallet. Kepler Wallet's like MetaMask, if you're not familiar, and it works with the Cosmos chains. And you can go to that website and you can use your Kepler Wallet to actually do deployments on Akash. So there's also, so it's a beautiful, slick UI built with Next.js, I think. And then another person built another beautiful UI. This one's really slick looking, and it's called Harbinger, and it's built on I forget which. It's an Electron app. So it's really slick, really nice UI. You've got that wallet. It's just, you know, it looks really user friendly, which just takes it to the next level of user experience, which I think is really critical. And then finally, not least, but you know, some developers don't want a UI. They just want to work in their IDE, right? You want to just deploy from your IDE. So what's your IDE actually? What do you guys use for IDE? A lot of people use VS Code. It's Microsoft's product. It's really awesome. You know, so VS Code now has an extension for Akash. So you can now just take your VS Code project, add Akash to it, and deploy. So that's really cool. And I think that's kind of like the next level of making the developer experience better. Not necessarily, you know, that's really what this has done for Akash, is the Sovrython has really taken it to the next level. So you can actually see there was a lot of applicants as well that didn't submit. So you go to our forum and there's a lot of ideas that came out of this that didn't actually finish and submit. So I hope that some of those come back and actually continue working.
Yeah, there's I think always a lot of that. You know, we saw it across all of the streams of work.
Were you guys able to see my screen just now? I wasn't sure.
Yes, I was.
Yes.
It was,
Okay, good. Okay.
I was watching it on the YouTube live stream to
Good.
make sure the YouTube live stream was working. Actually,
Yeah, one time I forgot to click share and did a whole presentation. So I'm glad you guys. So I want to say thank you to exiledsurfer as well. You've been super helpful in this process. And you know, it's really interesting to see Gitcoin also kind of benefiting from this, like having a huge, huge project on Gitcoin. I think this was big for them too. So
yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I want to congratulate you on your presentation right there. I haven't had the time to be as together as you have. It's going to be, you know, it's one of my priorities here at Sovryn has been the hackathon, and I've been a little bit overloaded and very late, as everybody knows. So I want to say thank you so much to you for the quality of your work and the quality of your presentation. It's also been great working with you, Colin.
Thanks. I hope you don't mind, but I want to plug. This week we're going to launch a community fund to start funding developers, and we're going to give $100 of AKT to developers that follow our guide. And so all the folks that did not work with Akash or did not submit, we're going to give them $100. So if you're on the Sovryn live stream, you're getting like the first heads up ever online that we are going to give away 100 AKT to developers who want to build on Akash. So it's called the Akash Developer Grants Program, and you just have to sign up on our forum. So I've been putting a lot of effort into that, and the Sovrython has kind of like we keep timing things. So as Sovrython ends, we're starting something new, and that's the new thing we're starting. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I mean, if I recall correctly, you pretty much joined just weeks before or weeks after we contacted Akash to do this, right? I mean, it's pretty much synchronous. Your first like big project for Akash, right?
This was about like a 2 week, about maybe within the first month that I joined Akash, we basically said, should we fund this? And I said, hey, the best way to fund something is actually to say, hey, we're going to put the money out there, but we need to figure out how and when we put the money out. So we said, hey, let's do $25,000 to the winners, and then 75,000 in follow-on grants. That way, we're not just like throwing money at developers, but we're saying, hey, we want to build this into something long-term. And so that's kind of how I pitched it to the company and said, hey, we need to do this, and we need to do it right, and we need to keep it long-term. I think hackathons sometimes, you have an end date and it's over. So I want to keep it going and keep the Sovryn and Akash partnership growing, and keep building on these things like the Sovryn node on Akash. So that was right when I joined. Is I said, hey, let's make this a forever thing, a partnership.
Absolutely, building for the long term.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. We're gonna get on and start going through more of ours. Colin, and I'll talk to you soon. Welcome to stay on with us. Thanks for joining and everything that you did. The next one from the Sovryn bounties that I want to talk about is the let me get the right tab here. So the Fiat Gateway submission, the BISC RBTC integration.
Yeah, I think this one was huge.
This is like really like, not only is this huge. So yeah, Chris Beams, one of the early people at BISC, lives here in Austria. And actually, I met Chris at Paralelnipolis in Prague years ago at a conference. Didn't realize that he was here. What's also really interesting about BISC is that they have a whole DAO. They were one of the earliest DAO structures in Bitcoin, moving towards completely decentralized governance. So everything is what the coders, developers work on is decided by the community. The governance is there. It's really an excellent, what happened with local Bitcoins, right? Local Bitcoins has KYC now, don't they? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Right.
So I think, BISC is still quite hard to use. And so sometimes it struggles with liquidity. And I think the idea is that we could create things that are like BISC or extend BISC and, integrate it with Sovryn to make it much easier to use could expand the ability for people to get in and out of Bitcoin without ever having to go through a centralized intermediary at all. And a first step towards this is this integration, which allows people to start getting directly onto the rootstock network with RBTC from fiat without a centralized intermediary. So that is a really big deal, because now you can go get your Bitcoin, trade your Bitcoin, lend your Bitcoin, borrow more Bitcoin, trade against other cryptocurrencies, and you can do the whole thing without ever having to go through an intermediary. And I think that is, still a bit clunky, but that's the vision, that's the future, and we can keep iterating and improving on that. I think
so. Harrigan, congratulations! Thanks so much for this epic contribution to Bitcoin DeFi. First prize, $7,500 worth of SOV. This category has been doted with. This is really one of my I think this is just awesome. I was so stoked to see this one. The next category that we want to talk about for Sovryn is Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. And I think it's a perfect time for you to be talking about why that's important.
Well, they're the most successful economy in the world ever was Scotland in the 1800s. And Scotland benefited from having a true decentralized banking system. There was no central bank, every single bank, any single company could make their own pound, could publish their own pound, and they all traded against each other, and they were all trading against each other and settling in gold. And that's what kept them disciplined. And so there was no inflation, there was no deflation, there were no crashes, and the economy boomed. And then they introduced the Bank of England, and the whole thing stopped. So there's a number of economists who have written about it, and they've started to become more and more prominent recently. But we have the ability now to recreate that, to recreate the ability for us to have a world of free banking where different protocols can create Bitcoin-backed stable coins and will be secured by Bitcoin, but stable and therefore usable every day. And so basically you get the best of both worlds. You get Bitcoin with its decentralized, permissionless, and borderless properties, and you also get stability. And so places like El Salvador right now have an RFP out for this, and this is the kind of thing where we can start bringing Sovryn to everyday people because they can have the benefits of Bitcoin without the volatility. So there were 2 submissions, I think, around this, and they both took a different approach. And one of them, and stop me if I'm talking too long, but one of them took an approach building out a system which is kind of similar to a different system on Ethereum called Rye, and
that's Iranian, by the way. That's Iranian's project,
right? And so that creates a token which isn't pegged to like the dollar, but is kind of starts off at a price point near the dollar, and then it is designed to off.
Who?
Emmanuel from Covalent.
Whenever he jumps in, we'll give him space. So
yeah. So I think those 2 projects are very cool, and it would be great if either of those developers reached out to me to continue, or reached out to us, to continue the work that they've been doing, because I think it's very interesting and important work. I, as you know, am going to have to jump off in a bit, and there are 2.
Well, let me tell who got the prize on that one, because I didn't get to it because the stream stopped. Yeah. Okay. So the second prize is Iranian with the Rye implementation for $5,000 in SOB, and first place goes to Jack the Money for their liquidity fork and implementation of Bitcoin-backed stablecoin for $7,500. There's 7 more categories to go through. When do you need to drop off?
I need to drop off pretty soon, but I'm particularly interested in 2. So one that I'm really interested in, I think is the Lightning Network integrations. The other one that I'm really interested in is the Sovereign Explorers, right? So we've already seen rootstock explorers, but there were also projects that built out explorers for the transactions occurring on Sovryn.
Those are the Covalent bounties, and I don't have the results. I don't have the results for those.
I see. All right, cool.
That's Covalent. So
the fact that we're working with Covalent, I think like Akash, Covalent, API 3, and other projects are sort of making it much easier to decentralize the nodes and the analytics around Sovryn. So maybe we can jump straight to the Lightning Network integration.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to save that one for last, but we can go ahead and jump there since it's
you're the master of ceremonies. It's your decision.
Let's do one more before that. So on-chain identity, we had one submission from Real Diganta, who did a delegate interface for governance of Bitocracy, so that you could see what delegates are voting, and provided a really cool UI and concept for Bitocracy governance. That was a really big favorite with the judges. Also,
that
Aurora
is super cool.
Like this one.
Can we see that interface?
I don't have the link handy to go through that. I'm not as prepared as Colin was with all of this stuff.
All right.
Okay, but
That is super
it
cool.
is in the submission on GitHub, and will be appearing in a blog post where everybody will be announcing the prizes via blog post and links with people's submission data. So 7,500 SOV for Real Giganta on chain identity. And then I'm going to do one more individual category before we go to Lightning Network. And that's with the Sovryn bridge in bridge integrations from Dodecane. Also received very, very high points across the judge category. So first place there for 7,500. There's not a second winner in that category. There wasn't a second submission. And now we can talk about Lightning Network submissions. So we had 2 submissions from Pseudozach and GRM Chris. And I know that you looked into them pretty deeply, so.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Hi.
Okay, cool.
So Bolts is
Okay.
a
We're good.
so Bolts is a sort of an exchange allowing for submarine swaps on Lightning Network. Submarine swaps are atomic swaps that occur on the Lightning Network, allowing you to move in Lightning transactions from one chain to another. And then the other approach, which was taken by GRM Chris. GRM Chris sort of bolted up from the get-go, sort of like built up his own submarine swaps, and he has also thought that maybe a good thing to do would be to move into integrating bolts as the next step. And so what we might see is these two teams join forces and start working together. And I think what's cool is basically this kind of work allows people to move directly from Bitcoin into Sovryn and even begin to start interacting directly from their Lightning wallets as this system will mature directly from their Lightning wallets with the Sovryn contracts. And so it can be truly the most seamless experience. So I think this is going to be a piece of continued work for the future.
Yeah. So this, what happened with the Lightning submissions, right, is exactly what I, envisioned or hoped would happen, is that teams would come together and interface with each other and pollinate with each other. And in our chat channels in Discord, as they had their submissions, the two projects, reached out and said, hey, what's up with the grants program? Because we really want to work together. We decided we want to put our forces together and work on this together. And I just think that, like, wow, this is for me the spirit of hackathons. This is for me the spirit of crypto, that people who are there, this collegial competition, right, that wants to drive the space forward. And then people see that they each have a piece of the puzzle and want to pool their forces and move forward. It just reflects everything that this hackathon and that crypto is about. For joining me, Yago, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Emmanuel, man, how you doing?
Hey, hi. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Burning the midnight oil to get this done. So
Yeah, I know how that is.
Yeah. So it's like, there's been times where I've only produced, a hackathon, and producing it side by side while doing work at on the project has been a bit of stretch for me. I wish I was more prepared and everything, but most importantly, all of the entries have gotten judged, and we're here letting people know, what to expect. So. Why don't you tell us about the Covalent bounties, man? Thanks so much for joining us, by the way. Yeah, and shout
No,
out to
thank you
Ingmar
for hosting.
for putting this all together. Yes.
Thank you for hosting. Because I've been watching the live stream here, and I would say really amazing submission so far that you've mentioned. All the entries that came in and eventually became winners. Really, really awesome projects that I am hoping would definitely go on, to become projects that have real world use case and greater adoption. So that said, it's a delight to be here. Thank you for hosting this. And I really wish Yago could have stayed. And thanks so much to him as well. It's been an amazing experience working with you guys from Sovrython. So is the live stream still on? I think it
Yeah, the
stopped.
live
Okay.
stream it just stops regularly and I have to restart it. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
We're having some bad luck today, but I can see that we're on the live stream.
Great. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and present the slide that we prepared. Is that fine?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, awesome. So you can see my screen being shared, right?
Yeah, sure can.
Great. Thank you everyone for being here with us today. Depending on what time zone you are in, I would say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. That's well placed. So my name is Emmanuel. I am with the dev team at Covalent. My official designation is Junior Developer Relations. So I'm going to be presenting the Sovereignty winners tonight that builds on top of the Covalent API for this particular hackathon. But before we get there, I'm going to spend a little bit of a time talking about Covalent. So here at Covalent, we define Covalent as that one unified API that gives you 1 billion possibilities across Web3. So Covalent basically leverages big data technology to create meaning from hundreds of billions of data points, delivering actionable insights, and allowing developers to allocate resources to higher utility goals within organizations instead of painstakingly sourcing data from a handful of chains. Covalent aggregates information from across dozens of sources of including nodes, chains, and data feeds. The Covalent API then sources end users with individualized data by wallets, including current and historical performance across all types of digital assets. So in very simple terms, what that means is that Covalent returns blockchain data in a rapid and consistent manner within one API interface and using what we define as no-code solutions. So basically, you can consume the Covalent API and get responses in JSON format, right? So essentially, you do not then have to make calls to the API by writing complicated query code just to get blockchain data, right? So you can actually.
I have, Emmanuel, I have a question for you. Do you just have
Yes.
one slide or do you have multiple slides? Because I'm not sure if you're supposed to be showing different slides.
No, it's actually a very short presentation. So this is just for me to give those folks joining us who probably participated and made entries for other challenges to know what Covalent is about. Yeah. So
all good. I was just checking that there wasn't supposed to be more slides. That's all.
No.
Okay.
There are more slides, but this is where we start and then we go on. So currently, Covalent provides support providing data across multiple chains. And right now we have indexed data from Ethereum, from Polygon, from the Bina Smart Chain, from Phantom, and a couple of other chains, right? So for developers, we recommend using the channels to join us on Discord or on Telegram, where we you would be able to access us and then be able to ask us more questions about how you can, quickly set up and start using the API. And here's the interesting thing: using the API requires just one step. All you just have to do is sign up for an API key. So Covalent, was one of the key sponsors at the Sovrython hackathon, where we had 2 challenge categories that we presented to developers, hoping to see all the amazing solutions that they will build using the Covalent API. And those 2 categories were termed the wallet bounty and then the dashboard bounty, right? So typically what we required developers to do was to create an RSK based wallet dashboard that would typically show balances, transactions, and then present portfolio analytics for the wallet bounty. And then for the dashboard bounty, to create a Sovryn analytics dashboard with information such as lending, borrowing, and trading start. And we would like to say we were blown away literally by the quality of submissions that came in. Yeah. And the interesting thing about this using the Covalent API is that you can, make requests to all multiple index blockchain networks just from one simple interface. All you just have to do is to set the particular chain ID of that network that you are interacting with. So yes, going straight into it, for the submissions that came in for the RSK Sovrython wallets, we have the usernames from Gitcoin, and then there are 4 winners in all. I'm going to try and pronounce these handles because some of them look like tongue twisters. So that should be Yupstein, Escavalia, Gaian 0890, and Akbar Idra. I am just going to demo the submission for the top wallets that we'll pick out from the list here. And it is the submission by Nick, known by the moniker Nick Coda Pro. So he actually built an RSK Sovryn wallet that featured an authentication, which you cannot see in the attached image. So a user is actually required to create an account, right? And then provide their wallet information where they would be able to access all of their information about token assets, token balances on their dashboard. And if they have NFTs on a particular address, they'll be able to, see the NFT balances and all the information regarding the NFT. And then, have market analysis where they're able to see the different prices of different tokens on the market, and also be able to see general sovereign statistics, such as the total value locked, right? And all of this is being powered by the Covalent API. So I am just going to
That's so awesome.
yes, it is. It is. Like I'm going to stop sharing the screen now and then share the screen to the wallet submission. Yeah. So yes, you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Confirm for me, please. Awesome. So this is the RSK Sovereign wallet built by Nick in action, right? So here by the top right hand corner, just beside the logout button, it actually gives you the option to add multiple wallets. Yeah. So for the purpose of presentation and speeding through this demo, right? So I'd already loaded 2 wallets here, and this is the dashboard here, and it shows the token balance, right, on this particular wallet to address which has been selected, right? The total income accrued on it so far, the fees and the expenses, right? And then you are also able to view, like I said, token price information when you click on the markets, and then you are able to see prices of different tokens. And also, very interesting is that you get to see general sovereign statistics, right? Such as the total value locked, the lending contract amount, and then the current staking contract amount. And all of this is entirely powered by the Covalent API. We are really blown away by the quality of submissions that we see every time, because developers just go on to show that there's no limit to the genius that they express.
And that was built in 6 weeks.
Yes, that is what makes it all the more even interesting. Yeah, that is what makes it all the more even interesting, all the more delightful, right? And then you can then think about how much more such developers will be able to do if they are given more time, right? And having said that, I am just going to go ahead and jump right into the next submissions, which is for the dashboard bounty. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So for the dashboard bounty, drum roll please. So we have Gaian 0890 and Akbar Idra as the winners for the analytic dashboard. So this submission is particularly very interesting, and you are going to know why that is when you see a live demo of what the developer built. That is in the person of Akbar Idra.
Looking good, looking good.
Yes.
Ready for the next screen. Nice slides, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's
So
amazing about this is actually
Yes.
you guys came late to Sovrython Partner Bounty. We literally had already started the first day, and Ingomar reached out to you guys, and we put this together really quick. So seeing these submissions on top of the fact that you guys were the last partner to join the hackathon is just really stunning.
Yeah.
So please continue, Emmanuel.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to allude to that fact here and says it's a testament to the genius of our developers, and also because we had to index RSK first, the RSK network here. So that took a bit of time from our own engineering team, because we hadn't had RSK completely indexed, and we had to be ready for developers to use. And it's even a more greater testament to how easy, so easy it is to start using the Covalent API. So this is the submission from Akbar Idra, right? So if you look at the top right there, you would say that it has a swap analytics page, a lending analytics, and a borrowing analytics. This is just one dashboard to capture everything that was presented in the challenge. And you have the option to actually set a time period to actually get back the data that you want, right? And then this is updated in real time. So he shows the latest sync block of RSK data here. And then you can see the largest swap, which is the latest information, the total trade volume so far, total unique users, and total swaps, right? And then he goes on ahead, and then this developer, continues to build out even more features by using very visually appealing, graphical analytics and pie charts, and then goes as far as, presenting information such as top 10 traders by volume, total unique users, total gas spent in USD, and you can actually toggle by dates and by months, which is really very interesting. Yeah. And I'm just going to walk us through the lending analytics page and also the borrowing analytics page. So for the lending analytics page, you can also set a time, stamp period to return data within a time frame. Yeah. And he goes on to present the total minted volume, total bond volume, unique user minted, total unique user bond, all of these still presented using very visually appealing graphs for those who are, research aficionados and data nerds, yeah. And then he also goes on to present information on borrowing analytics, right? And this is all entirely 100% powered by the Covalent API.
And Sovryn's data.
Exactly. So that is typically Sovryn's data being indexed, via the Covalent API, and then that is actually, built and presented. So that is, so with that, right, we have actually come down to the end of the presentation of the winners, and we want to say congratulations to all winners. And
so there was two. I'm sorry, Emmanuel. There was two, or there were three winners?
Yes, we actually have 8 winners in all, but those are the 2 top submissions that we decided that for the time that we have, for the brief time for this presentation, are worthy of mention, and the quality of submission we rated and decided that yes, these are the 2 that are worth higher prize monies than the other submissions. So if it's fine, I'm just going to go ahead and
you have all the time that you need.
Great, awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and let the participants know how much they won by way of prize amount. So in very particular order, beginning from the bottom, I'm going to read out the winners and the prize monies for the RSK Sovryn Wallet Challenge, right? So we have the submission by Monkey Dagger. It is a Stacks wallet submission. This is actually a very interesting project because it is actually available for iOS devices, right? And it actually presents data, insight into Sovryn's data via the Covalent API, and that is, a mobile first experience, which is very, very unique, right? And for that, the developers are getting, drum roll please, 250. Thank you. 250 US dollars. And moving on, the next prize winner, the next winning team, it's Nike 899 winning 500 US dollars. And also Akbar Idra, it's a double winner in the sense that he participated in the Sovryn Wallet Challenge and also the Dashboard Challenge. For the Sovryn Wallet Challenge, Akbar Idra is going home with 750 US dollars in prize money. And then we have Escavalia, who is going home with 1,000 US dollars in prize money. And we have Yubstein, who is going home with 1,000 US dollars in prize money. And then for the best submission for this particular category, can I get a drum roll please again? Thank you. So Nick, with the Monica Nick Holder Pro, is going home with a whooping amount of 2,500 US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that's it for the Sovryn wallets entries. And then for the Sovryn analytics dashboard entries, we have just 2 entries for that category, 2 valid entries for that category, because we had a couple of other submissions that did not quite make the cut. So for those two submissions, Vikas Pachori, it's going home with a prize money of 500 US dollars. And please, if you would be so kind as to give me that drum roll again for the top winning submission. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The developer is well deserving of it for the quality of submission that they brought in, and that would be Akbar Idra for building the Sovryn dashboard, and the developer is working home with a price sum of 2,500 US dollars.
Yay! Amazing.
Yes. So there you have it. That's the projects that entered for the Sovryn hackathon and decided to build data atop the Covalent API, and those are the winning submissions.
Amazing. What's your favorite?
I would say for me it's actually the analytics dashboard, right? Because it provides very, very granular information, right? Even way more than you expect. And you know what? I'm just gonna go back and continue sharing that screen. Is that fine?
Yeah, of course, man.
Okay,
That's what we're
awesome.
here for.
Let's do that.
You and Colin are both so much more well prepared than I am with presenting the actual entries.
I mean, it's fine. It's been an amazing time just watching and seeing all of that submissions, right? And I would say it's been a really wonderful time being here with you as well, and thank you for hosting this.
Yes, please.
Great. So for the swap analytics, right, it just goes to the presents a testament to how much you can actually do with the Covalent API. And the interesting thing is that I would suppose that you are an engineer yourself, right? And you...
No, actually, I'm not an engineer myself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I'm a communications guy who uses these tools. I'm a classic user, and I get to hang out with engineers.
Great. And that's the beauty of the Covalent API, right? Even for people who do not have a technical background, you can actually just start using the API immediately from our API docs, right? And for people who are in the research space as well, yeah, you can also immediately begin using the API without the need to write any complicated queries, whether it is queries by PAR or queries by Sorbia. So you don't have to write any complicated queries. You just go into the docs, grab an endpoint, and then start using the API almost immediately. And that is what makes this submission very, very beautiful, right? Because all of the data here is actually returned in JSON format, which is a very simple to use response formats for developers and gives an amazing experience when building out projects, right? So I am just quickly going to show the Covalent docs here and probably do a quick run through if you don't mind. Is that fine? And then
hey man,
okay,
do it.
Great. So yes, I'm switching to the Covalent API docs, API reference docs.
This is what we're here for, so is to make people aware of your product. So
awesome. So this is the Covalent API reference doc. Yeah, it is available at covalenthq.com/docs, and all you just have to do is actually set an API key, right, and you are good to go to start using the docs. So I am going to do a quick walkthrough, and
can I just ask you one question about the API key?
Yes. Any questions, please?
Are the APIs free, or are there tiered plans for the API keys? Do you have to pay, and how or not?
So I'm actually smiling because that's always a delightful question to answer, right? Because the API is completely free and there is no catch.
I think you're always smiling because you're one of those happy guys, and then you smile bigger because you're working for a cool project that's also free.
Well, I mean, I would take that, right? Because it's always an amazing experience to come to work every day, and there are developers out there who rely on your solution, and it just makes their life easier. Yeah, and that said, I'm just going to go back to the quick walkthrough on the docs, right? And
Please.
get people to understand how they can quickly get up to using the API. And also it's very important to mention that at this point the API is still basically free, because our approach is to charge on the supply side, right? And what that means is the big blockchain projects pay for indexing, right? So currently the demand side is absolutely free. So all developers need to do is simply get an API key and then start querying, data across all our supported blockchain networks.
Was RSK supported before you started the hackathon, or did you guys integrate RSK into your data?
So that is the principal reason why we joined in late, because we actually had to index RSK first, so that during the course of the hackathon we would be able to provide that service to developers building, pulling data from Sovryn via the Covalent API. So we just practically indexed RSK just at that start of the hackathon.
Thank you so much for that. That is so awesome. Really, man.
Yeah. So can you see my screen, please?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Awesome. So this is the official Covalent docs, right? And it's at covalenthq.com/docs. And once you land on the doc site, you first of all land on the quick start page, which gives you a very brief, high level, still concise overview of the Covalent API, right? And then it gives you links to the API reference where you can go sign up for an API key, and also read the docs on how to consume particular endpoint. Yes. And then you see the list of all our supported networks, right? So this is a high level overview that gives you an insight into all the sub menu items that you have here on the docs, right? So when you go into the sub menu items, you see our campaigns, right? We presently run 2 signature campaigns, the 1 million wallets campaign and the Dungeons and Data campaign. The 1 million wallets campaign is actually developer focused, and also for enthusiasts who do not write code, as well, to participate in challenges, just to get them quickly onboarded into the Web3 ecosystem through the easiest least parts of challenges via the Covalent, using the Covalent API. And also the Dungeons and Data challenges are for people who are more vested into that granular data from the Web3 space. And here is a list of all our currently supported networks, with more currently in the pipeline, and working with partnership teams to get more chains indexed. And then we have the Alchemist Cookbook, which would give our users tutorials, how-to guides, case studies, which they can easily point to as their first form of references, acquiring knowledge using the Covalent API, right? And then we have the Alpha Alarm project, which is a DeFi visualization tool for all major blockchain networks, right? And then we have a set of developer tools. These tools, like I mentioned, Covalent, we talk about Covalent as a no-code solution, right? So what that means is that users can actually just pick up Covalent without even knowing how to write any queries at all, whether at par level or at sub level. Yeah. So you don't have to like do any of that. You can just quickly get on the docs, which I'm going to demonstrate very soon, and start using, our API to query blockchain data. And then we have a project showcase, and very soon we are going to update the submissions from the Sovereignty Hackathon. These are all projects that have been built at top of the Covalent API, right? And they are categorized differently. We have tools, we have wallets, we have dexes, and we have NFT projects as well on top of Covalent data, right? I'm just going to present one of our tools here that was recently built at one of the just concluded 1 million wallets program that we sponsored, right? So this is an analytics tool that make use of the Covalent API to build a very beautiful, as you can see, dashboard, yeah, presenting information in a very visually appealing way across token pairs on the Phantom and Spirit swap decks. Yeah. So I'm going to go back.
This is a huge tool for DeFi. Boy.
Yes. So for that, I am just going to show you another interesting project that we have on here, right? So this is Abdex. So this is Abdex, right? Abdex.io is entirely 100% powered by the Covalent API, and we provide very personalized support to developers and researchers and everybody using the Covalent API, because we are huge on community, right? And one of our core volume.
Emmanuel, how
Yes.
many community members do you have in Covalent?
At this point, across our different points of interacting with the community, right? On Twitter alone, we are actually at over 30,000, right? Across Telegram, we are currently, as at the last time I checked, and the number definitely would change, be different now. We stand at over 15,000, right? And across Discord, I really do not have that figure pat down, but the one information that I have credible insights into is that we actually, have had over 10,000 developers who have come into the space and then have interacted with the Covalent API, right? And for this particular project, Abdex, like I said, we provide very personalized support to our developers, and in interaction with the development team, we got to learn that they currently handle traffic in the thousands on the daily at this point in time. So this is basically the dashboard, right? And it shows you information. As you can see, there are actually two dexes here: QuickSwap and Uniswap, right? And this is taking some time to load. That is on my own end, but I'm just going to go ahead and talk through the signature features that this project actually presents, right? So So yes, it has a token explorer, right? It has a DeFi hunter, and this is a price pair leaderboard across the Uniswap DEX and then the Quick Swap DEX, right? And a myriad of other features that it's available via this app, all powered by the Covalent API. So I'm just going to go back to the docs and switch on to the API docs itself. So this is the API docs. Please confirm that you can still see my screen, please.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is the API docs here. And at this point, we typically provide two classes of endpoints, and we categorize them as class A and as class B. Class A endpoints return data across the currently indexed blockchain networks that we have indexed at Covalent, right? And then the class B endpoints are for specific protocols on the blockchain, such as Aave, such as PancakeSwap, and such as Compound. And anyone has to do to start using the Covalent API is sign up for an API key, right?
Yes, correct.
And for developers, the response format is very, very easy. So this is, a developer looking at this would understand this is JSON return responses. Yeah, it makes it super easy to work with the Covalent API. And this is a list of all our currently supported networks and their chain IDs. And this is very important, right? Because we support both mainnet and testnet, right? And going straight into the API, why the chain ID information is super important is that across all networks that we currently index, right? To query any of them, all you just have to do is set a chain ID. So for developers, right, they can actually build, think of all the different network explorers that you currently know, right? You have an explorer that is only dedicated to information on the Binance Smart Chain, right? You have explorers that are dedicated to information for EVM compatible smart chain, for EVM compatible chains, right? You have explorers that are dedicated only to data from the RSK, yeah, and then you have explorers for Phantom. But think of that one. Think of the possibility of having that one single point of truth, yeah, that single point of resource that you can use to assess all of these different networks. Think of the possibility of that, right? So for you as a user, isn't that an experience that you would want to have, Exile Buddha?
I'm so excited about this because for many reasons. First of all, our team has obviously been digging into Covalent since you guys joined the hackathon, and in providing all of this data and integration, have gotten a very, very close picture of what it's capable of, and is very excited, and have prepared a spec document for us about participating in the network, as well as using the services. But what really excites me is that Sovryn, as people perceive it, is only the DApp, which is our reference implementation, and then there's the protocol, which the API is interacting with, and we're looking to expand out the number of developers that are offering front ends and standalone products using the protocol that are separate from our reference implementation. And everything that I've heard from our team internally and everything that I've seen from the hackathon submissions in terms of ready UIs, and what you're showing us all here on this live stream about how it came about makes me feel like, the partnerships with Covalent and with Akash and with API 3 are all going to bring not only Sovryn forward, but the whole DeFi space that's happening in Bitcoin. So I really, I mean, you're getting me really, really excited. So yes, I can't imagine the possibilities, and my brain is filling over with different projects and different people that I want to make sure know about Covalent. So this has been an amazing presentation, man, for me. So I hope everybody that's watching the stream or that will watch it after it's available online get as excited about building stuff on the Sovryn protocol on Rootstock as using Covalent. Man, this is great.
Awesome. That is really amazing to hear, right? Because when I talk about Covalent, it is that single source of truth, right? Think of Covalent as like the Google of blockchain data, right? You want to find information on RSK, you want to find information on Phantom, you have a particular transaction that you have the hash, and then you just want to look up without going to that particular explorer for that particular network, right? All you just have to do is come, to the API docs, which is very, very interesting, because you can actually do this via the docs itself, right? And
I get that. I'm watching this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a document. It's an interactive, code base
Yes.
that you can build your actual implementation with, and it's incredibly exciting.
yeah. So I'm just going to do a quick off on the fly demo here, right? Just pulling up the wallet information that is here. Let me see if I can copy this. Okay. No, probably just go to the RSK Explorer and then copy. Do we still have time, please?
You have as much time as you need, Emmanuel. I am in no rush, man. This is what we're here to do.
Great. So I need to I'm trying to get to the Explorer and then pull up an address.
Okay. I know what it's like sifting through tabs when you're doing a presentation.
Yes.
You're doing better than I am.
So okay, I am just gonna open one of these, right? Because these are addresses that I've already looked up. Just pick up this one address. Yeah. So like I mentioned, all anyone has to do, developer or not a developer, is just set the particular chain ID, right? And the chain ID for RSK is 30, and then you just paste in the address in here. Yeah. And the API key has already been set. So you click on try, and you see how fast that response came back.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually information on this particular contract address that we just entered, right? And then it shows us the particular token there, which is ROBTC, right? And then the balance on this particular address, and then the balance within the last 24 hours. So you can actually, use the API to build a tool such as a visualizer where you're able to present data on open high and low close data, right? And these are all the endpoints that are available
So
right now on
let
the
me ask
Covalent
you a
API.
question. How
Yes, please.
actual, how real time is the data that you have indexed? Like at what rate are you providing transaction data for RSK?
So quite interesting. That is information that is available on the docs here, because we classify it as real time, which is 30 seconds or just 2 blocks behind
For RSK.
for all our supported networks. For all our
Amazing.
index networks, yes,
two blocks.
2 blocks behind, which is just typically less than 30 seconds.
Well, that's great.
So that means as you hit the refresh button, you actually get new information back.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes, it is. I am even blown away by the project itself.
Geo distributed as well. So this is pretty much anywhere across the globe because you're serving from multiple data centers.
Yes. So the team is actually remote, yeah, and the core of the team is in Canada, but I am actually not making this request from Canada right now.
Great stuff.
Yes. So the class A endpoints, you have different endpoints, right? And then you can also query NFT data, and we just shipped a very
When you
recent
say
feature.
query NFT data, are you querying the IPFS or Filecoin, or where are you getting your NFT data from?
From all from typically as long as it's ERC 721 compatible, yeah, we would serve up the data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am trying to find the stop screen share button over here on my end.
If you go down to the bottom of the screen, you should be able the menu should pop up.
Yes, I think I actually opted to hide the menu, but it is not popping up right now.
There you go.
Okay.
You have to be in the actual inner space.
Okay. Yes, great.
I have another question for you. So, are you only resolving wallet addresses, or do you have ENS or RNS or HNS support for resolution of addresses?
Like these are really pretty great questions. Yeah, really amazing questions, because we actually do resolve ENS addresses, right? And then I could just quickly
exiledsurfer.eth.
Let's do that. Let's go back to the docs then. There's a chat feature. You can share that with me via the chat in here, right?
Yes.
Okay, just type it in.
Doxing myself here with my address, but it's been publicly available anyway. I mean, once you post it to Twitter, people know where it is.
That's right. That's fine. So I'm just going to copy that.
You got that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so for this particular call here, all we just have to do is set the chain ID for Ethereum, which is 1, right? And then pass in the ENS address. You can even see on the docs, it actually says passing in an ENS address resolves automatically, right? So let's make this call. So there you have it.
Great. I don't have a resolver set to RSK, but if I sent the resolver on ENS, it would resolve the RSK as well then if you gave the chain address, correct?
Oh, yes. So I am not going to scroll up so that we don't reveal any more details on so we'll just leave it here.
People can look themselves now,
So it's so good. Just to clarify, we actually only support ENS yet, but we don't support other domain naming services at this time. But that is actually still in the works.
Right. Okay. But if I had said an ENS resolver that was resolving to my checksummed RSK address, it
Yes.
would resolve as
Return
well.
data. Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm so blown away by this space and everything that's developed over the last 5 years since. Yeah, it's just the rate of development is so stunning for me actually, and everybody feels like it's not fast enough, but it's like light speed.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that in some ways, yeah, that it's not fast enough because there's still a lot more coming here. We have layer 2 coming, right? And then we have to like be at top of providing this service that everybody needs here, and be that single source, of truth, and just have that one explorer and that one point to get into the Web3 space and rule them all without writing any complicated queries, whether at par or at sub.
You sound like a man and a product on a mission, and I love that.
That is
But why don't
that
you
is
pull out of your screen there? So, I mean,
that is just what
I
it
love the
is.
marketing. I love the marketing speak and mixed amongst all of the factual information. It really puts a smile on my face, man.
Thank you. I mean, it's a product I use myself, right? Because I'm a developer myself, and like I mentioned, I'm actually with the developer relations team, and I just get excited using the products every day, right? And I think it's a fascinating information to share that the CEO Ganesh talks about that often when he presents session, that actually Covalent was also built as at a hackathon like this, right? And we are very keen about developers, very, very passionate about developers, and they are always welcome to join us on our Discord, right? And accessing the Discord is very easy, right? All they just have to do is covalenthq.com/Discord, and then boom, you're right in our channels, and you can always mention anybody from the team to access support. So I'm always there. Harish is always there, and I would like to say thank you to Harish for this opportunity to present these winners.
Oh, I've been messaging Harish on Telegram and telling him what an awesome job you're doing, man. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you much more for having me here and making this a very delightful experience.
This is what my mission is enabling people, enabling projects in the space. I'm not really interested in people who want to complain or argue about what's not right in the world. I want to work together with builders and dreamers that are moving the space and the world forward. I'm definitely a values-based guy in the cryptocurrency space, and the mission of this hackathon is to meet people like you and meet projects like Covalent, and for us to work together to move everything forward. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I want to move on and do the rest of my announcements for our partner bounties. Thank you so much.
It was a delight being here. Thank you.
All right.
All the best.
We'll be talking.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Cheers. All right. So now we're back to the point where I can do the final announcements for Sovrython to close out the stream. And so let me get myself back here. Let's see here. Which tab is that one? Good. So we did when Yago was here, we did Real Giganta winning on-chain identity for $7,500 worth of SOV, and then Dodicane doing Sovereign Bridge for $7,500 in SOV as well. And then now we're up to integrations, ENS, HNS, RNS. And so the prize winners for that is, the second place is Domix 14 for the governance DApp, 5,000 in SOV. And first place goes to Lebeau Remy for Node Docker and Tor support. So basically what he did is he made the reference client of Sovryn, live.sovryn.app is available over Tor with a vanity address, also using ENS name resolution. So this is a huge thing for the Sovryn protocol, for decentralization, that now you can access the front end of Sovryn via Tor if you want to be really as private as you can, and also using ENS. So a combination of old school Web 2 tech and Web 3 tech, and that all tied together with a decentralized finance application built on the Sovryn protocol. This is one of my favorite submissions that I think that really moves the space forward with the Dockerized deployment on Akash. This shows what the future is. Again, it's all like really front edge, and of course going over Tor, it's slower than normal, but it's showing us the way forward for everybody to move. I mean, let's be serious. So much of the blockchain Web3 space is hosted on AWS and DigitalOcean, extant large data service providers. And because of the incentives that are built into blockchain systems where you're participating in the network, and there's network tokens that you hold and use both for governance, coordination, and also for participating in the network. This is the kind of stuff that really gets me excited about crypto. Is taking away as many intermediaries as possible and distributing data across the planet. We're adversarial thinkers, threat modeling, fighting against monopolies, fighting against data surveillance, and projects like Akash Network and DeFi products being hosted on Akash and other networks. Of course, we have Siacoin, we have Filecoin, IPFS, we have Swarm. There's so much happening in this space that is just bubbling up, all this infrastructure work that is slowly bubbling up into implementations that application builders and protocol builders can use to serve their data in a decentralized way. So thanks so much to Lebeau Remy for the Node, Docker, and Tor support, for the integrations category. And then for wallets, the last one is a category that I have to announce. We had one submission, and very highly rated, from Zarklays, which is also then dotiered at 7,500 USD in SOV. So I guess I'll go back now for everybody that's still on the stream, and at the end of the stream here, and go through all of the winners once more, from the top of the show now to the end of the show, so that we have it here. So for research, there was one research submission from Fish Biscuit, the Sovryn Total Value Acceleration, that won. In data science API category, Accept Pass won the first place, and Developer in Progress won the second place. Data science improved Blockchain Explorer's SOV team got the first place, and Jamil's RSK Explorer got the second place. For decentralization, Sphinx Chat integration, Hacky Guru received a prize. In decentralization, node deployments, infrastructure, Lebeau Remy for the Sovryn node. In decentralized order book, Brana Finance, Finance Fiat Gateways is Harrigan for the BISC BTC implementation. In Finance Bitcoin-backed stablecoins, Jack the Money and Aranye 01 got second place. For integrations on-chain identity, Real Giganta with the governance solution. For integrations bridges, Dodecane, the Sovryn bridge. For integrations ENS, HNS, RNS, again, Lebo Remy, no Docker and Tor support, first place, and Domix 14 for the governance app. And for wallets, Zarklays, and for the Lightning Network, GRM Chris won first place and Pseudozac won second place. And that puts me now at the end of this live stream. It's the end of the live stream, but it's just actually the beginning of our work in supporting ecosystem development in the Bitcoin DeFi space. I want to thank all of our oh wait, I'm sorry, actually I have one more, the API 3 partner bounty. Let me grab that one. That was the last one. So for the API 3 DAO challenge, the winner is Quid Mint for Quid, and that has been dotered with $25,000. 12,500 of it is coming from Sovryn, and 12,500 is coming from API 3. Unfortunately, nobody from the API 3 team was here to do a presentation, but you can catch them on the live stream playlist on YouTube from Parallelipolis. There's a presentation from API 3 at the beginning of the conference. And so as a last bit of information, now that we have the winners, we will be contacting you to do the payouts. Please be a little bit patient with us. We have a lot to do, and we've had staff members on vacation or out sick. So I'm going to have to put all of this through the finance department, and then through the multi-sig, and we'll get everybody paid. Stay tuned for when we'll do the payouts. And thank you so much for being a part of this hackathon. Thank you for toleration of my mistakes with dates and a little bit of disorganization in moving this forward. But again, thanks everybody for participating, and I'm out.